And we begin with developing news overseas, where at least 63 Canadians have been killed following a plane crash in Iran. The Ukrainian International Airlines flight carrying 176 people crashed shortly after takeoff from Tehran's main airport. There are no survivors. Now, the plane was a Boeing 737-800 model, an older model than the Boeing 737 MAX, which had been grounded for nearly 10 months because of two deadly crashes. Redmond Shannon is following developments and joins us now. Redmond, what is the very latest?
Good morning, Travis. Yes, well, what we know about this crash is that just after 6 a.m. local time in Tehran this morning, that was around 9:42 Eastern time last night, the plane took off heading for Kiev. It's a Ukrainian International Airlines flight, a Boeing 737-800. Now, remember, that's not a Boeing 737 MAX. Those aircraft are grounded. The 800 is an aircraft with a very good safety record. That particular aircraft last night initially climbed normally to around 8,000 feet, and then something went very wrong. The flight data suddenly disappears once the aircraft reached that altitude, and that indicates that something perhaps quite catastrophic happened. Now, investigators, or at least the Ukrainian embassy in Tehran, initially said it was connected to an engine failure. But it should be noted, of course, that these aircraft can operate very well on one engine. So that there was a climb back from that initially, and investigators are saying that the cause remains open, although they are pointing at technical failure. However, of course, given the nature of this crash, when it happened and where it happened, there are connections, and obviously there are concerns that this may be connected to the conflict in the Middle East and between Iran and the US, particularly given what happened last night. Now, both black boxes reportedly have been found, but it's being reported also that Iran is refusing to, or saying it will refuse to hand over those black boxes to Boeing. Obviously, that could be connected to the current conflict too. So a lot has yet to be discovered about what went on, but what we know is that this plane crash was catastrophic and no one survived.
And Redmond, an extraordinary amount of Canadians on board that plane. What do we know about the victims right now?
Well, what we know, Travis, is that, yes, a large number of Canadians were among the victims on the plane that crashed. And for the most part, excuse me, forgive me, I have a bit of a cold. For the most part, there were 82 Iranians on board and 63 Canadians, although Iran says that there were 147 people on board from Iran. And that would indicate that a lot of the Canadians and other nationals on board the plane were dual nationals. Now, this plane was heading from Tehran to Kiev in Ukraine, and it's believed and it's understood that a lot of the Canadians on board this flight were probably taking the flight, connecting flight onto Toronto a few hours later. Now, we don't know any details about the Canadians themselves, but I'm sure that we will learn more about their identities and where these people were from as the day progresses, Travis.
Yeah, certainly a lot more to come on this story. Redmond Shannon joining us from our London bureau. Thanks, Red.